It's Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. And I'm about to go to work. I'm kind of in the driveway of the property of the two houses. I'm doing electrical work today. But today I want to talk about just unsung heroes and real value and appreciation, because I really think in the black community, I think the black community, as I said in another video, is become the savage community. And I'm basically saying that in a civilized community, you do things in what is considered to be a civilized manner. If you don't do things in a civilized manner, you get savagery. You get things that don't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, it's nonsense. And I'm kind of looking back at my life. I think I did pretty good for myself. I joined the fire department, dropped out of college, was at a good college, good university, UCLA. And I dropped out to become a fireman because I really wasn't doing that great in college. And it wasn't that I had the aptitude. I just kind of got sidetracked dealing with women. I lost my virginity in college. And that was kind of the beginning of the end, because to be honest with you guys, if I had, or if the woman who I lost my virginity to really understood me and understood the average young man coming from my background, I would have been a physician had the woman remained loyal and faithful to me as a result of us having intimate relations together. But that didn't work out. But I'm looking back more now as after I left college. I didn't graduate, didn't finish up my degree. I left university and joined the fire department, and it was, I'd say, the best decision I ever made in my life, because it literally transformed my life. I made more money working as a firefighter than my contemporaries who graduated from university were making. I don't think there were too many people that made more money than me, having the work schedule that I had. It was a wonderful work schedule. You work 10 days a month, but they're 24-hour shifts, and you would work 3 shifts with a day off in between, followed by 4 consecutive days off, and then the cycle would continue. So it's a 10-day rotation. And I loved it because it enabled me to have 4 consecutive days off. 4 consecutive days off, but I never had to work 2 days consecutively. And if I did, I was getting overtime. I was getting paid time and a half. But getting back to the story of raising these kids, I had a sister, my older sister. She had 2 sons. She was out kind of living her life, doing her thing, and kind of got addicted to alcohol and drugs. And so for, I'd say, well over 20 years, she was out there in the streets, just kind of being a menace to society, not taking care of her responsibilities. And, she would surface every now and then, and me being the loving brother that I was, I would try to help her get on her feet, because well over, I'd say, 7 times she had been arrested, and the court system was generously merciful to my sister, because for those 7 times that she popped up and we extended the hand of friendship and help to her, she faced penitentiary time. They were going to send her to the big house, the penitentiary, for years on these drug charges. But she managed to get in a drug diversion. Everybody's thinking, these people are sick and this and that. They're not really criminals. And I'm just kind of scratching my head to say, if you were raised during the time that we were raised, society tells everybody pretty much what to do and what not to do. You know, don't use drugs, don't get on alcohol. When I grew up, my parents, you know, created a mental framework for me to understand how to view the world. So being a black young man in America, my parents said that the white man, beware of the white man. The white man wants to destroy you, but he can't do it anymore the way he used to. He can't just come and snatch you up and hang you from a tree. And my mother took me to this historical museum where they showed pictures of white people. And it was almost like a big family reunion where you had these, almost looked like one of these football pictures where you got, you know, rows of the athletes and the coaches on either side. And so they had family photos, and then on either side of this amalgamation of family members, they had a tree here and a tree there. And you're kind of looking at these trees, and it's like, what the hell is hanging? Oh my God. They got people hanging from the tree at this gathering of white people. And I'm just like, wow, this is you know, she said, those are some of your ancestors. This is what we've had to go through, what our ancestors had to go. Not we, our ancestors had to go through to get us to this point of existence here in America. And so what you need to understand and appreciate is that the white man can't do that anymore. You know, he just can't do it. I don't see why he couldn't, but he'd rather have you destroy yourself, son. So in order to destroy yourself, he doesn't want you to read. There's a saying that, you know, if you want to keep a secret from a black person, hide it in a book. So don't be afraid to read, Jerry. Don't be afraid to read. He wants you to get drunk. So you need to be sober. You know, the Bible tells people to be sober. Don't drink. You know, all things in moderation, right? Don't use drugs. Drugs will turn you into, they'll put you to sleep like the drugs did China in the opium wars back in the day. And China still has yet to fully recover, you know, and this was back in the like late 60s, early 70s. This was before China opened itself back up to the West and, you know, capitalistic views. But all those things didn't make no sense, never mind to my sister. So she ended up drinking alcohol, using drugs, and got out there in the street and started doing all kind of whatever else you can imagine. Somebody who, beautiful girl though, beautiful woman, do all these things. And she managed to have kids along the way, and I started taking on the responsibility of raising these kids. And long story short, these kids grow up, their mother gets kind of on her feet, she gets married, husband dies, he's a veteran, but because he's a veteran, he's entitled to these benefits along with his family. So when he dies, she's legally married to the dude, so she's able to get a house. And ultimately, these young men start living their lives, and then they stumble and fall, and one of them moves back in with his mother. And at a certain time, you know, I moved in with her. She actually helped me at a certain point, was helping me. So I'm not really knocking her totally. I'm basically just saying, look, for what I did, for the sacrifice that I made, there was an encounter I had with this young man, the oldest of her two sons. And the younger, he was there at the time that all of this happened. And, there was a conflict. Don't need to tell you what the conflict was, but it was a verbal conflict. And ultimately, it got to a point where the oldest of my nephews wanted to lay hands on me. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's go outside and we'll work this out outside the front yard. And everybody comes out of the house. They grab my nephew, hold him back, and I'm like, no, let him go. Please let him go. Even if he manages to beat me up, it'll be an experience for both of us to understand, because one thing about men is we are capable of doing terrible violence to each other. And I've had experiences. I've been punched. I've been knocked out. I've knocked people out. So it's like, you give and take. There's no man walking this earth that can actually say, I've never been on the losing end of a conflict. It's just, and if you can say that, kudos to you. You are like a 1 in a million person. But I'm just scratching my head to say, for the majority of your youthful life, up until you turned 18 and left my home, I did what your mother chose not to do. It wasn't that she couldn't do it, and you can try to say, well, she was sick, she was out the street doing it. No, your mother chose to ignore you, to abandon you, and she abandoned you for drugs. She abandoned you for alcohol. She abandoned you to party and have sex. And the conflict really had nothing to do with her at all. It didn't really have anything to do with her at all. It had to do with a conversation I was having with one of my other sister's daughters who had just graduated from university, where she basically said I offended her. And I'm saying, okay, well, let's have a discussion. We'll try to work it out. And she's like, oh, you owe me an apology and all of this. I said, okay, if I give you an apology, will that make things better? And because if it is, you have it right now. I apologize. Oh, no, you don't mean it. You're not sincere. You're not sincere in your apology. And he's coming in, caping for her. And I'm like, listen, I'm not even talking to you, son, but it appears you want to really have something to do with this. If you do, let's take it outside. So we take it outside, and we're ready to get busy, or I'm ready to get busy, and they snatch him up and grab him. And they tell me, quote unquote, get the fuck out of here, as if I'm some stranger who's done nothing for any of these people. For the girl who went to university who's telling me I owe her an apology, I gave her a car and I drove it cross country from California to Florida because that's where she was living prior to going to university. And I bought the car, paid cash for the car, fixed the car up. I didn't think she deserved a brand new car, and I wasn't damn sure not going to buy her a brand new car. I figured I'd give her something that would get the job done for her 4 years, and it wouldn't be a burden to her. It was a little Toyota Prius, 2008 Toyota Prius, real nice car. And I cleaned it up, got the windows tinted, dressed it up, put a nice stereo in the car, and she got the car. Helped her move into her dorm using my van and a trailer to transport all of her belongings. And I used it to pick up all of her things at the end of the year. So I'm lugging stuff up, elevators, stairwells, and all this, and helping her get packed and unpacked. I'm, giving her money, just doing all kind of wonderful things. And I supported her in all of her events because she was a musician. And whenever she was playing in the band at the football games, I would go support her, cheer her on. If she had recitals, I would give all of these things to her. And I'm doing all these things. And so it was a misunderstanding that, to me, she's saying I owe her an apology. I says, okay, well, you got it. And, oh, you're not sincere. And, he comes in, yeah, you better be sincere and tell her you're really sorry and mean it. And I'm like, listen, man, nobody was even talking to you. If you want to get in this, let's have at it. So they're telling me get the fuck on, long story short. So as it turned out, I had knee surgery and I was walking on crutches. So I threw the crutches away prior to them snatching him up, and I'm in the front yard ready to fight this young man with a flat tire. I got my left leg is literally in a soft cast, but I knew I had enough experience and skills to where even with a bum leg, I could hold my own. And being even older than him, my experience and strength would be more than enough to, handle the day. But the funny thing is, had I lost, I don't know if I would have taken the loss without doing something terribly, terribly, terribly egregious. But Oh, and at the time, just so you guys know, I had a little 22 caliber pistol. I'm the legal owner of it in my pocket. So I wasn't prepared to pull it out and use it on the young man or anything like that. Um, but anyway, they snatch him up, take him into the house. He disappears. So I gather my crutches. I'm putting them in the back seat of this car. And just as I'm closing the back door, it's a 4-door sedan that I have. As soon as I close the back door, here comes the same young man that they snatched up who wanted to fight me. He's coming from the backyard with a 4x4, wielding it like a bat, as if he's going to fight me with this dang bat. And I'm like, you fucking coward, you know. But anyway, I tell him to put it down because I know how to deal with people like this. My father gave me good training on dealing with people with weapons and all this other kind of stuff. And I says, either you put it down or I'm going to shove it up your ass. And I'm looking him dead in the eye, and I'm actually walking toward him. And he sees that I'm very serious, and he sees that I have no fear of what's about to happen. So he decides to put it down, and they come and snatch him up again. And they repeat, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. And I says, oh, you guys don't have to tell me twice, and I'll never come back there again. Now, I did come back about 3 years ago to have a conversation with my sister concerning the matter and trying to make peace with the family. And that didn't work out. And that was 3 years ago. And I think that was the last time I was in any of their presence. But all I'm trying to understand is, how can you, with a straight face, look at the black community and call it civilized when you have things like this going on? There's no honor, there's no respect for men that go out of their way to support the family. It's almost like I didn't do enough. I should have done more. And that's kind of like the refrain that I've been hearing from a lot of people. And I'm basically telling all you young men, if you got brothers and sisters, and you decide to do what you need to do to get your life together, you don't owe anybody anything. But I would say it would be helpful and it would be nice if all of the family members made the right choices and did what they were supposed to do, because now you guys can collaborate and now you guys can elevate up together. But if you got hard-headed, oh, that can't happen to me, and the only reason why it happened to all these other people, they were losers, but I'm special, and, you know, the drugs won't have such an effect on me like it did, and, you know, I'm so special. That's the whole attitude that led my sister to fall off of the trajectory that my parents set for all of us. We were supposed to at least maintain the status quo of what we experienced growing up in a 2-parent household. We all went to private school for the 12 years of our matriculation as students, from elementary school to high school. 12 years, 4 kids, that's 4 tuition payments every month that was paid. 4 tuition payments. They could have went to fancy cars and things like this, because a lot of my friends in the neighborhood, they went to public school. So their parents didn't have to set aside any money for tuition. So they're rolling around in nice cars and, you know, they're fixing up their houses and stuff. But somehow my parents managed to send us all through private school, and we had one of the nicest houses on the block. And I'm just looking to find out how savage we've become. So savage that we don't even have family reunions. We don't even get together as families anymore. We don't have gatherings. It's just a small little niche of people that really get together, but nothing as far as the extended family. None of us are really oriented to have family reunions, and I think it's because we become more uncivilized. We become savage-like. And I just hope that the savage community can once again return to become the black community, because if what I experienced from my nephews and my nieces, as well as my siblings, is a foreshadowing of what's to come. I don't want to have nothing to do with the black community at all. As far as I'm concerned, it's not the black community. It's now the savage community. And I don't blame white people or non-black people to have nothing to do with people like that. And I would rather have somebody judge me on the content of my character than the color of my skin. And I'd rather have black people stop using the color of their skins as leverage points to get people to feel sorry for them. Don't feel sorry for none of these fools out here, you know, and I'm willing to take the hit. If I get pulled over by a cop and he slams me on the hood or something like that, I'm not going to file suit against him or anything like that. I'm going to basically says, you know, it's a damn shame that not more of us black people are taking a stand against these savages in our community, that this cop is resorting to taking out his frustrations because he doesn't want this barbarism, this barbaric, savage attitude and behavior anywhere around his daughter or his son or even himself. I'd rather take that hit, and I'd be like, officer, I totally understand, and I really apologize. I apologize for my people being the savages that they are, that you're taking your frustrations out on me. But don't worry, I'm not going to sue you. I got a bloody nose and a broken nose. You broke my arm, but I understand your frustration, because I wouldn't want to have nothing to do with people like this. And it would be a lesson to where they would have to get the hell on out of this place in order for us to live peaceably. That's what everybody talks all of this crap about. Simi Valley. Oh, you don't want to live in Simi Valley. Why wouldn't you want to live in Simi Valley? Those white people don't want their Simi Valley neighborhoods looking like South Central LA. I think I've spoken enough. Have a good day, you guys. It's the savage community, y'all. It's no longer the black community. And the black men that got sense enough to leave these people alone, I applaud you, because that's just what I did. Leave these fools alone. Let them figure it out or die. It's just that simple. Figure it out or die, y'all. Peace.